final thing I'd like to say in our own home state here of Ohio is what's happened in this state is in many ways a microcosm of what's happened in our country over the last half century to century as well. You go back to 1949, Ohio was actually the state where 5 of the top 10 most prosperous cities in America were actually right here in Ohio. Toledo was the glass capital of the world, actually. Youngstown and Cleveland were at the top, the steel capital of the West. You had Akron was the rubber capital of the West. Cincinnati was the consumer products capital of the entire country. Dayton was the computing power capital. This was a leading state in the Industrial Revolution. Thomas Jefferson actually admitted one state to the Union during his presidency. It was actually the state of Ohio. I think if you were here today, Ohio was a frontier state before we had a frontier, believe it or not. And if Thomas Jefferson were here, you ask him what's the frontier state in America today, it wouldn't be Florida or Texas. It would be this state, the one we're right here in today. It's Ohio. That used to be us, the leaders, the pioneers, the explorers, the unafraid, the people who couldn't be stopped. John Glenn and Neil Armstrong grew up in the 1940s into that Ohio. That's what gave them, again, this self-confidence to believe that anything was possible, to land on the moon, to go to outer space and come back to the United States. To believe that that was possible, it takes a level of self-confidence, both at the level of a country or at the level of a state. Now, today, where are we? I told you back then it was 5 of the top 10 cities that were the most prosperous in the country were in Ohio. Today, not one Ohio city makes it into the top 20 in the United States. We have a fentanyl crisis that's spreading across the country, but no less in this state. And at least as I understand it, and Gen Z will tell me, to be called Ohio is the butt of a joke rather than something that was a mark of honor at the time Jefferson admitted the state to the Union. And, make no mistake, we are, I think, the best in the Midwest, but I see no reason for this state to once again be the best in the country with the next generation of Americans and Ohioans sitting in this room, to be the pioneers and the explorers that our founding fathers were, to revive that sense of purpose and conviction in who we are as a nation.